Hey, what's up, guys? So, in April, Windblown came out with its Sanctuary update, one of the biggest updates that we've had to date. Keep in mind the game is still in early access, and it's not like you're paying DLC for this. Motion Twin just keeps out pumping updates left and right. So, good on them, and good for me because I'm here to milk the update dry. Today, we're going to be milk it, get it? Because I'm a snake, and you'd milk a snake for its venom. Anyway, long story short, I'm here to talk about the 4 new weapons in Windblown because they're very different, very unique, and they're not all created equal. So I'm going to be ranking them from worst to best, in my humble opinion, as someone who's played the game a tiny bit, a very little bit. And then, of course, let's just dive right into it with the first one, the worst one out of the 4. Keep in mind, there are 4 weapons. It's the Sentinel Wings, the Fishing Rod, Sharp Sisters, and, of course, the Elder Sword. So which one is the worst one? Well, number 4 on our list has to be the Sharp Sisters. So you may be saying, Hyperion, why the Sharp Sisters? Well, that's a good question, and that's why I'm making the video. So first off, let's just look at the Sharp Sisters. A 50% ultra attack at level 1. That's decent. That's all right, I guess. The last hit deals 3 criticals. Now look at the combo. Kind of lengthy. And then, yeah, the criticals are nice, but the range on this is super short, super tiny, and it's kind of lengthy. You can dash cancel and make it faster. It's pretty much going to be the same speed the whole way through, and it's just not great, basically. Not great. So then we move on to the alter attack, right? So if the combo of the weapon is not good, then we go to the alter attack, and then the alter attack is pretty unique. As you can tell, you have this dash, and the dash, I know we can't tell on the training dummy, but the alter attack has like 2 parts, right? The actual dashing through, and then these 2 flurries you leave behind. Now, Sharp Sisters is kind of unique in this regard, where the iframes are pretty much non-existent, right? Like when you're dashing through, very non-existent. Plus, the actual alter attack leaves you right on the enemy. So if the enemy's doing some sort of wind-up attack, yeah, you're probably going to get hit. Not to mention when we have elites dropping their goo or their bombs or whatever, the mushrooms farting everywhere. You're just going to basically step onto it the second you come out. So yeah, it's not too good. I mean, the actual dash does like a lot of damage, and then the flurries do kind of the remaining percent. I always say it's like an 80-20 split. Like the dash does 80% of the alter attack damage. The flurries do like 20%. Now, there is some light at the end of the tunnel here. These flurries you leave behind are really good for stacking on effects, right? If you have gifts like stacking curse, hits apply curse, crits apply curse, fantastic. The flurries will stack it up, especially if you manage to keep the enemy in these flurries here. If you have an affix on the weapon, right, like it applies burn or bleed, even better, burn aura, bleed aura. That's all well and good, but that's really where the good with this weapon stops. Oh, okay, I forgot. The weapons also look cool as hell, right? Looks like a rogue from World of Warcraft. Aesthetically, I vibe with these a lot. I just don't vibe with the combo. And then the alter attack is very hit or miss, because you're basically putting yourself in range of being hit by the enemy, or by running into goo on the floor or what have you. So that's why, in my humble opinion, Sharp Sisters is number 4. Oh, my bad. I didn't see you there. I was just busy fishing. That's right. Number 3 is going to have to be the fishing rod. Now, disclaimer, before you leave any angry comments down below, I just want to let you know that the remaining 3 weapons, right, fishing rod, sentinel wings, and the elder sword, are all pretty close together, right? Like these, like Sharp Sisters is like in B tier, and these 3 weapons are all like in high A, maybe even S tier, in terms of like the whole sandbox and how good they are. But fishing rod, I'm going to have to say, is number 3. It pains me to do so, but it's still a really good weapon. So let's dive into the weapon itself. So its thing is that it basically pulls an enemy to you. Now, on the training dummy, there you go. It's pretty self-explanatory. You just boop enemies off the map, and you can do this to a lot of enemies in the game, as long as they're not elites, bosses, or stage 4 incubator enemies. So it's great for cheesing. And the way I describe this weapon is basically a fusion of the charged blade, the fish knife, and of course katars, basically, because of the bleed. So the combo, pretty quick. I compare it to the fish knife in duration, more or less. I haven't timed it, but it feels more or less the same. Obviously, it doesn't do a lot of damage. What does a lot of damage is whenever you boop enemies off the map like this. This is way easier to land than the Charge Blade Altar. It just feels more intuitive and unique. You just got to be standing near a ledge, and then the enemies just die in one hit. And then, of course, the Altar doesn't do a ton of damage, but it does stack bleed. So you can see there that fish stacks every bite it does. I think it stacks 3 bleed. So you can stack bleed pretty easily on enemies. So that works in your favor if you have any affixes on your weapons that, like, does 60% more damage against bleeding targets. That's all well and good. So it's very unique because it has the charge blade ability to like knock enemies off the map. It has bleed and it has a pretty decent combo, just like the fish knife, where it's not too slow, not too fast, gets the job done. It's basically like a better fish knife, right? It has the utility that the fish knife just doesn't have. The fish knife is just there, so you can do your little 3-hit combo and go into your altar. This has that, and of course, the ability to boop enemies off the map, and of course, bleed as well, which is nice to have. Not complaining about that. Okay, these weapons are awesome, right? These are awesome. Just look at them. I feel like I'm in Star Trek or something, just firing lasers everywhere. Anyway, Sentinel Wings number 2. I actually wanted to say number 1 just because these are my personal favorite weapons, but if we're talking objectively, or I guess not objectively, but as objective as we can get, Sentinel Wings are slightly inferior to the Elder Sword. So let's talk about the Sentinel Wings. The description is not very informative. I believe I can fly with a little music note. Very nice. Fires mid-range lasers. You can see that has a 3-hit combo. Does decent damage. So its combo is actually pretty short, and the better part is that you can do it from a range. So you're getting the combo part of it at a distance, so you're not putting yourself in harm's way. And of course, the altar is just firing more lasers. I had a run where I had size 100 of these, and it was awesome. I really don't have much to say about this. Like, there's no like crazy tech or anything that I have to share. These are just fun weapons. Pretty good at just being just damage whenever you want it. Of course, from mid-range, right? It's not going to be sniping across the entirety of the map, but you can play from a distance without worry of being harmed or anything like that. And since the hits of the altar attack, you can see there's multiple lasers, right? Also in the combo, there's multiple lasers. So if you have anything that's on hit, it's going to be able to stack it to a decent degree. So that's something to keep in mind. The altar attack, I think, has 4 lasers, so that's 4 stacks of curse or bleed or burn. So that is a little interesting thing to keep at the back of your mind. And then finally, you know it, I know it, we all know it, the Elder Sword is number 1. Not only is it one of the Navaless's brothers' weapons, right? Well, I guess so is Sharp Sisters, but Sharp Sisters is kind of trash, so let's forget about that. But Elder Sword is just in a league of its own, in my opinion. Has a nice combo with really high percentage, 90% on the Ultra attack, but the combo, I have to admit, is not what appeals to me in the weapon. Now, of course, you can boop enemies off the map. You can see it has a little heavy blade shockwave, and it boops the enemies off, and you can even boop enemies off the map with it as well. That's not really what I use the Elder Sword for. What I use the Elder Sword for is for its Ultra attack. Big damage, these shockwaves all around the map here. And surprisingly, or rather unsurprisingly, that you can throw enemies off the map with it, which I've used to a lot of success. So you have the the effect of taking enemies off the map, just like the fishing rod, except this weapon actually does damage. And the on-hit gifts are actually really good for this weapon, because all of these little shockwaves here, these little heavy blade altar attacks basically count as hits. So if you manage to land the altar attack epicenter, you'll get like 6 stacks, 5 or 6 stacks of whatever debuff you're stacking. And not gonna lie, this weapon is just fun as hell. I mean, the slam is just so satisfying, and it has decent iframes. It also teleports you onto the enemy. That little leap there, it's really cool. I really don't have anything bad to say about this other than the combo. Really need to have some attack speed if you want to make this work, or be playing from a distance. Maybe enemies are spawning in one of those gauntlet challenges, and you can use the use the final hit there to knock them off with that shockwave. But really, just spam the altar. You'll be better off for it. You'll do crazy damage. You'll boop enemies off the map, and it's just fun as hell. So that's gonna be it for this video. Just ranking them, not objectively, but as objective as I can. Sharp Sisters number 4. That's probably a B tier weapon, maybe even high C tier. And then the remaining 3, probably an A, S tier, just depending on your playstyle, what gifts you get, what trinkets you have. And yeah, I mean, Elder Sword just looks sick, bro. Look at this. He's ready. Snake is ready to kick some Naval-less brother butt. But that's going to be it for this video. Thank you much for watching. If you want to see more, please let me know in the comments what you'd like to see. You know, cataclysmic runs, hitless runs, speed runs, you know, more weapon reviews, just memeing around. Let me know what you guys think. Anyways, that's going to be it from me, and I'll see you all in the Vortex.